Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Recently Olight updated their Arkfeld light with an Arkfeld Pro version with 3 absolutely awesome features that are very useful for EDC use, which we're going to have a look at now. Now before we get into this, I know I'll do this probably quite a few times. This is the Arkfeld Pro. There is an Arkfeld, which is a similar light that has 2 functions here at the end. This one has 3 functions. But yes, if I refer to this as the Arkfeld and forget to mention the Pro on the end, I do apologise for any confusion, but this is the Arkfeld Pro that we are looking at today from Olight. Now just to quickly get some kind of specifications, that sort of stuff out of the way as far as the measurements are concerned. The length of this comes in at 120 millimeters. It's 27 millimeters wide and 16 millimeters deep. Now when I mention that, that's without the clip on here. You can remove this pocket clip if you want to. It's a double spring clip, so you can push things into it that way and that way. But yes, if you did want to, you could remove this. But you're probably adding maybe an extra 5 millimeters with the clip on there, which really isn't much. Now if I put it on its end like this, hopefully you'll be able to see that the sides of this are actually not as deep as it is in the center here. It has a convex top and bottom to this. So when it's in your hand, it's very reminiscent of those early iPhones where, because they had thinner sides, it actually made them feel quite a bit thinner. So when it's in your hand, it actually feels really nice. I know I don't really talk a lot about lights in your hand. The beauty of this is down to that rectangular shape, and I've mentioned this on a few of these style lights that have a rectangular shape to them, and that is how much nicer these are in your pocket. I think this should be the start of a new revolution through EDC flashlights or EDC torches. This form factor really is a lot better and a lot easier. It's not to say that the old ones weren't particularly difficult to keep in your pocket, but moving to this, I think I appreciate more how much nicer that it actually is. Now on the inside of this, there is a 1500 milliamp hour battery. It's not removable, however I guess you could do. I haven't tried to take this apart, but there does seem to be a back to this here. I imagine, although this is a pure guess, that if you were to take the spring off, there would be a way that you could get into there. However, I've certainly not tried. And Olight aren't promoting this as a light that you can change it, although I guess you could do. If needs be. With this little gate on the back, it is still very good as far as your waterproof rating is concerned for dust and water. It's an X7, so they haven't tested for dust, which is the X, but for this seal. Or at least where this little kind of door is, I guess. They probably wouldn't refer to it as a door, but I guess that's what I'm calling it now. It identifies as a door, and if you say anything other, that's because you're a bigot. Anyway, so this for the water rating is 7. 8 is the highest, so it's still pretty good if you're concerned about this getting this wet. If you're out walking the dogs, or if you drop it in a shallow puddle, you certainly don't need to worry about that at all. As far as the weight is concerned, I'll put the weight down here at the bottom because I'm just checking my notes and I can't remember where I've put the weight. Oh, here it is. It's 111 grams. So again, not particularly heavy. It's constructed from the same sort of aluminium alloy that a lot of other lights are constructed from, which is the 6061 T6 aluminium. So it makes it very nice and tough, but that's how they've been able to get it down to a reasonably low weight. It has got an anodized finish. I believe there's 3 different colours at this moment in time. This is the black version. There is a coppery orange version. Now that's not a copper version because I know Olight do some copper ones, but it's a kind of a burnt orange kind of colour, and then there's a green version as well. On the end here, it does have one of Olight's proprietary magnetic chargers, and this comes in the box when you get it. With Europe changing recently their laws around proprietary chargers, I think this might be the last Arkfeld that we see with one of these at the bottom, and Olight will unfortunately have been forced to move towards USB Type-C, which it makes a lot of sense, but I know how much of a fan that a lot of people were of those proprietary chargers. Now, getting back into the actual functions and features of this, so I mentioned at the beginning the original Arkfeld had two functions, and that was that you had a white light and that you had a laser on here. The beauty of this is that it's added an extra function, and to be able to switch between these, the UI on this is just perfect. So what you have here is this little jog dial that hopefully you can see as I move these around changes it between each of the functions, and then in the middle of the dial you then have a button which turns it on and turns it off. Once it is on for the white light, let's put this onto its lowest. So it's very similar to Olight, how they have a lot of their lights. So whilst it's turned off, if you do a long press from off, you can put it onto its moonlight mode, which is 1 lumen, and then after that it's long presses. I'm trying to do this with my gloves. I'm probably not holding it right. And then after that it's long presses. So if I do a long press from moonlight, it takes it up to low, another long press, medium, another long press. Is then high, and then if you want to turn it off, you actually do a normal press and it will turn it off. To switch between the functions though, as I mentioned, you just turn that round, and we're now on the middle one, which is the green light, or the green laser light, sorry. So on this is great. Now I'd still say, as I did with the original Arkfeld, that this is just as much fun as it is functional, in the fact that you can sit in the window at the top of your house and really annoy the neighbourhood cats as they chase them around and squeal and screech at it. It is a lot of fun. Plus, if you want to, you can do some kind of crazy kind of disco funkiness, what an idiot. Anyway, yeah, you can do all of that sort of stuff. It's very cool, very useful. Turn it on, turn it off, it's all done with the same button. Then the third option, and this is the upgrade that you get from the Arkfeld to the Arkfeld Pro, is that you now have a UV light on here as well. So if I'm shining this onto my gloves, hopefully you can see this, but there's definitely some white speckles on my glove here, which has been picked up by this UV light. Is there anything weird on this plant? No, plants don't do particularly well with UV, do they? There you go. Oh no, can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. I can see it great here. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. Super simple. Now if you are on one and you want to switch to another, you don't necessarily have to turn it off. I can just switch the light here and it will switch between each of these. One of the things that I forgot to mention on the normal white light, there are two versions of this. There's a cool white and a natural white. And plus there are some other functions as well, so you can do a double press which puts it onto your strobe, or if you do a triple press then you can get it onto its turbo, which is different to some others. I think I'll probably cover this again when the second one we have a look at this in the dark, but usually with Olight it's a double press to get onto your turbo and then a triple press to get onto your strobe mode. They've swapped it around, not too sure why. I guess there probably was a reason in that whilst they were testing, but again it's just something to get used to. It doesn't certainly take long to be able to remember that. Last couple of things on here is as I turn this on, hopefully you'll be able to see that we do have a battery indicator on here, which is nice. I like that we're starting to see more battery indicators on lights, just purely because, well, it's just useful, isn't it? Instead of having to keep it constantly topped up and guessing. So yeah, that's really nice. But what I also brought in here, so here is my Arkflex. So these are kind of brothers from a different mother. Hopefully you'll be able to see that the form factor is very similar. It does have a larger clip on this. With the Arkfeld Pro, all of the features are all here on the front face. I'm calling this the front mainly because why not? Whereas with the Arkflex, rather than being on the front here, instead you just kind of hold this on its side, and then you use the buttons here on the side. Both have the LED lights on here to show you how much battery there is. You'll see that the Arkfeld Pro is probably maybe about 10 millimeters, possibly longer. The main difference between both of these is that the Arkfeld Pro has these 3 functions that all work through the front end. With the Arc Flex, this just has one function of the light that's on here. However, as the name suggests, there is a flex on this, so you can turn this from what I'd consider to be a normally orientated torch to a right angle torch just by turning the head like that. And this is pure conjecture, pure speculation on my point, but what I'd like to see is the marriage of these two. These two need to have a little baby so that we can see if we can get an Arc Flex Pro. I think that would be very cool if some of these extra features can be built into this. I don't know how they do it with this button on the side. If this button could move down a little bit further, I'm guessing there's probably a battery in here that might be in the way, but yeah, I think that'd be cool. But yeah, let's go down to the woods and let's have a look at this in the dark. So we're out in the woods with the Arkfeld Pro. It's very dark tonight. There is a beautiful bright moon, but luckily, whilst we're here in the trees, it's managing to keep some of that light away. So as far as the functions on this are concerned, we'll kind of go through the white light functions right now. Now at the moment I'm quite close to the floor. I'm maybe about a meter away from the floor because I've got this on its moonlight mode, which is just 1 lumen. I think 1 lumen is great for an EDC flashlight. Out here, it's a little difficult actually, I will say, because I think there's quite a decent spread on this. So it doesn't focus a lot of that light. It's more of quite a wide beam. Some other lights where 1 lumen, you can actually see quite a bit more. As I mentioned, with this, it's quite a big spread on its moonlight mode. You can then do a long press, and this will then take it up onto its low mode. On low mode, this is a lot better light to be able to walk around in the woods. It's so much easier. Here's that tree that blew over a few winters back. I can easily see, which you might not be able to pick up, I can easily see 4, 5, 6 meters ahead of me, which if I'm walking, because I know my woods really well, I know where I'm walking at, and I know what I'm going to walk into. So 15 lumens on its low mode, again, is pretty good. Now I can do another long press, which will then take me up to the medium mode, which then bumps it up from 15 lumens up to 100 lumens, and I can see way more with this. Being able to see trees over there, so that tree there is probably about 15 meters away. If I turn around here, 5 meters, probably maybe not even 10. But again, bringing this down onto the floor. So as I usually do, shall we do this on 100 or should we do the next one up? Yeah, let's do this on 100. So I'm going to put this here mainly because I just want you to see how much this is more of a spreader. There is a warm spot. You can definitely see that there's a warm spot, but it's a very wide and not particularly well defined warm spot. 45 degrees to the left and back again, 45 degrees to the right and back again. The skirt on this, it's not what you'd call a very defined skirt, but again, the EDC use for this light, it's certainly not one that you're going to be searching for objects in the middle of the wood at whatever time at night. This is a perfectly crafted EDC light. Now I will say, so if I bring this down here, because of the shape of the lens on the front, the skirt at say 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, not particularly defined, whereas the skirt here at 6 o'clock is a little bit more defined. But again, that's mainly down to the reflector and the optic at the front. But that's the medium mode, which is your 100 lumens. You can then do another long press, which will then take me up to the high mode on this, 420 lumens. And again, this is great, being able to see this tree. I can probably see trees looking down here. That tree is probably about 25-30 meters away. I can see past that, but you're probably not going to be able to pick it up. Again, if I do the same, so 45 degrees to the right and back, left and back, not a very defined warm spot, but you get more of a flood and a spread with this than you would do with other with other EDC lights. Then when you do another long press, it then takes you back round to low. Now it doesn't remember that you were on moonlight first, it will take you back to low. There's a bit of a change with the UI on this though. So if I do a double press is the strobe mode, which on most, let's turn that back off and put it back onto low, which with most Olights, a double press would then take you on to it's turbo mode. To get onto the turbo mode, you need to do a triple press. 1, 2, 3. Now we're on its turbo mode, and again, you know, being able to see down there is so much clearer. The turbo on this is 1300 lumens. Again, I think because of the low candela on this and the way that it really kind of floods that light out, I'm trying to gesticulate with my hands how it's worked. It doesn't seem like 1300 lumens, but again, it's because of just how wide and just how much of a flood that you get with this. Now, there are the other options on here. So with the switch, and you can't see that I've done that, but I've just turned this on to the laser mode. Out here in the woods, it's very cool, super sci-fi. Remember that scene at the beginning of Aliens 3 where they send in the probe into the spaceship and it does that laser map kind of thing? You can kind of do this and whiz it all around. Again, it looks kind of cool, but you know, with the 3 functions that you've got from this, changing it from white light onto laser, super simple just with that switch, and then it will turn it around. If it is that you're on laser, you can, whilst on laser, do a double press and it will give you access to the white light and the laser. Let's just see if we can get this so we can see this. So hopefully, can you see the laser? Let's put it on this tree. There, that's probably a better shot. You can see the laser and the white light. Again, if you turn it off, turn it back on again, it will just put it back onto the laser. Double press, and there you've got the white light and the laser. The last option, or at least the last function that there is on here, is the UV light. So I'm just going to come closer to this tree so that you can see this. The beauty of the UV light really is when you're indoors. Every now and again you do get to see some very cool stuff out here. I think with the temperature dipping recently, it's hard to pick up some of the things, but you can just see underneath here. See where that color differential is, where some of the algae and some of the different things, algae is probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. Some of the things that are growing on this rotting tree. It's very cool to see. But I think the beauty of this is other things within the house. But yeah, so super simple. You can switch between your white light, you can switch between your laser light, switch between UV light. It's a very useful EDC flashlight in the fact that you have all of these functions all within just a flick of a switch. Very cool, really cool. I think the Arkfeld Pro will be just as popular as the original Arkfeld was. With the extra feature with the UV light on here, it just expands the amount that an EDC flashlight can do. It's still easily pocketable. The UI on this is so simple because it's just got that one switch and you can switch between them. But even you've got that little kind of feature where you can use the laser and the white light at the same time. I think it's really nice, especially if you want to go out into the woods and pretend you're playing Call of Duty, going dark, which I don't know why you'd have your light on, but anyway, you know what I mean. I think it's another intelligent addition that Olight have made to their range of lights, and yeah, I think this is going to be very popular in 2024 and beyond. Now, of course, yes, Olight are having a sale. They currently have a sale on these. I'll leave some links below so that you can see more. If you choose to use some of those, they are affiliate links, so they just help my channel to grow, and it's another kind of indirect way of being able to support me here on Moorlander EDC. So I'll leave some of those links below. I'll leave some of my social media links as well, so you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC, and also my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical. But for now, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. As the size is concerned, it comes in at I've forgotten what it comes in at. No, let's start again. God, it's cold. Weirdly though, gives me a chance to further test out the level 7 jacket from Helgen Tex. And I will say, although it's cold, I'm rather warm. Now this adds in an extra feature which is nice. Yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice. Start again. Bloody birds, shut up. Hey! Oh, now they stop. Which came out last year, to the Arkfeld Pro. This has got everything. 3 functions. It's got 3 functions. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Recently Olight, you idiot, not Arkfeld. I think this might be one of the most adaptable. Here's one. Well, not here, I'm not getting it out of my pocket. What do you call those beanie hats where they're just little short beanie hats that just kind of sit on your head? Not with the floppy bit here. So imagine this is there and it just kind of sits on the top. Is that a watch? A watch one? Like the fishermen used to wear that literally just sat on the top of my head instead of, you know, doing this because it looks a bit silly. It's been doing my nutting all day and I can't remember them because I'm going to do some more this year on beanies and I want to get one and I don't know what to search for. So yeah, we'll now know if you've got through to the bloopers so you can tell me what you call the shorter beanies are that don't go down past your ears. Yeah, anyway, I think this is going out on a Friday. It is going out on a Friday. I'm recording it today so it can go out tonight, that's why. So yes, have a nice Friday and have a great weekend. See you soon. Double thumbs fresh. If you get that reference, that's because you're cool. Yeah, see you in a bit.